Good morning. It's good to have you join us on Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. As always, my name is Masterful Ajinimo, and joining me in the studio to analyze topics this morning is Adebayo Fajimi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Good. We have a couple of stories this morning on front pages of the national dailies, of course. And let's begin from the Daily Independent newspaper. The banner headline right there says, inflation may shoot up as year winds down. And as analysts saying all of this, just know that this is towards the tail end of the year already. We're in November. An analyst is saying inflation may shoot up as year winds down. You can get this copy on page 6 of the Daily Independent. We see some other stories just beside the picture of the day there. Kanu's lawyers stage walkout as court adjourns trial. We can also see it on page 6. South senators reject inclusion of other regions in NDDC. We can get our story on page 7. CBN governor says Nigeria is ready for business. The writer says country's external reserves to surpass $42 billion by mid-2022. And then we see something on APC convention, while governors won't determine who becomes national chairman, defunct ACN CPC jostle to produce party's helmsman. Let's talk about what the analyst is saying, talking about inflation that you're saying may shoot up as year winds down. We're already having complaints from some sectors, of course, from people, market and traders, market women, market men, traders as well, of the sudden hike in price. Not sudden in some way, but just a gradual hike in prices of products. And now we're seeing analysts saying that there may be some shoot up in inflation. What do you take of this?
This is what we experience when the consumer price index is not favorable, it's not satisfactory. And usually towards the end of the year in Nigeria, even since I became an adult, things has been, during Yuletide period, price of things usually increase compared to when we have insecurity, farmers not being able to go to farm. We have pandemic, global economic downturn and all of that. So this is what you experience. So, but we expect government to, and we expect government and those who are saddled with the responsibility to ensure that the nation's economic is stabilized should help Nigeria, so that, because it is not okay, so that it is not okay if we keep experiencing this, over and over, that it is when the year is going to an end and all of that, that price of things will just go up and rise up, for some certain reasons, which, if we are proactive enough, should have been contained or halted, so that everybody enjoys at that particular point in time.
Okay, the Daily Times newspaper banner headline right there, Buhari is saying to French investors, Nigeria is viable to attract, sustain FDI. Two others, the first assures investors of Nigeria's willingness to create a win-win at every point. Then why we are building diverse cooperations with Nigeria, French president is saying that. And then we see Senate okays Buhari $16.23 billion, 1.02 billion euro loan, $125 million grant request without terms, conditions. Of course, that story can be found on the Daily Times. We've been hearing different monies, being spelled out in the news across several platforms since yesterday to today. Just tell us your take on what has been happening so far in the financial sector of Nigeria.
Like I've been saying that, you borrowing to do business is not something that is bad, but you borrowing, for not using the money, and you are not using the money to do what you are supposed to use it for, is what is bad. It's like somebody who go to get a loan of 5 million naira to do a business, and eventually squander the money for the burial of a father or a wedding ceremony of a
cannot
cousin.
pay back.
So if you are not able to pay back, and over time, what we have been experiencing from successive administration in this country is that governments go to get loan, and at the end of the day, some certain people will just share the money within their circle, and before you know it, you don't see anything coming up. And that has been giving Nigerians concern that, how are we sure that, okay, these people going to get money? And don't forget, there are a lot of, the government says it's fighting corruption, but a lot of corrupt individuals in the administration, and the government has not fished them out. So how do you build credibility? How do you ensure that, how do you portray yourself as an accountable administration, so that whatever you say you want to do, people believe? And I think that is the concern. So if the administration say, okay, they are going to get the money and Senate has given their approval, so I think what matters is for the sake, not for their own sake, because we practice gerontocracy in Nigeria, but for the sake of the unborn generation, so that when they are no more here, they can say, oh, this is what our fathers did for us.
Okay, still on that Daily Times newspaper, Kano's lawyers stage walkout as George John's trial till January 19th. We move over to the Daily Trust. Of course, still the same federal government unveiling 348.7 trillion national development plan. We see riders underneath that. Then we see 31 killed in Taraba, Katsina, Imo. We can get those stories on page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Nigerian News Direct, we see outrage over Senate approval of Buhari's $16 billion, 1 billion euros loan request. We can get our story on page 4 of the Nigerian News Direct newspaper. On Ikoyi collapse building, Lagos State denies plan to demolish 2 high-rise buildings. All of this story on the Ikoyi collapse building can be found on Nigerian News Direct. Just grab yourself a copy of that paper. On the Blueprint newspaper, FEC OK's 2011 to 2025 348.7 trillion investment plan. Nigeria's external loans, China tops with $11.8 billion as Senate approves $16 billion, 1 billion euros. We can get all of that story on the Blueprint newspaper. And just underneath the picture of the day there, we see insecurity. Interior Ministry sets up high-powered committees, decries absence of policy strategy document. You can get that story on page 7. Then suspected headers killed 8 in Southern Kaduna community on page 7 as well. Varsity's non-teaching staffers begin 3-day warning strike. You can get that on page 13. Lawyers, DSS operatives clash, court adjourns till January on Kano's matter. You can get that story on page 14. Reintroducing excise duty on non-alcoholic drinks, dangerous. Man is warning, and that story can be found on page 22. But we see Varsity's non-teaching staffers begin 3-day warning strike. It's as though every year or every time the strike has become a norm in Nigeria's educational terrain. What do you make of this matter?
Yeah, there is no two way to it. Just answer to the call of the people. So give to them what belongs to them. So there is no two way to hate. So that's my sincere take.
Okay, give to them what belongs to them. You can get all of these stories on the newspapers we read out to you on Blueprint, Nigerian News Direct, Daily Trust, and of course Daily Independent newspapers. And just make sure you stay updated on our website. That is www.tostvnetwork.com. Don't forget to also be a part of our social media community. Follow us across all our social media platforms at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our YouTube is TOS TV Network. Like and subscribe so you do not miss out on our amazing content. Thank you for joining us again once more on Nigeria Now. Please be a part of it tomorrow as we come your way again. My name is Merciful Ajinmo. Bye for now and stay safe.